Hello, humans. Hope everyone is doing well. We are about to start the seller call on this fine November 22nd. It is almost December. Holy shit, where did the time go? Hope you are all doing incredibly amazing and fantastic. Let me get through the chat here to make sure you guys are able to communicate with me. All right, I think that worked. I think so. Yep. Salvador, hello. Don, good to see you. Frank, hope you're well. Leo, chat's working. Whoop, whoop. CFC North Carolina, whoever that is. Danny and Judith, good to see you. Rob, good to see you. Toronto. Bobby Joe from Canada, how are you? Daniel, good to see you as well. It's going to be a pretty cool seller call. I hope. I try to make this the best experience possible. If you're brand new, let me know. This is your first day at the zoo. I'd love to hear from you. This call is a call that from a student, someone that is in a program where they get access to me beating them over the head in a gentle way, as kindly as possible, to get as many opportunities as possible in this fantastic market cycle. As interest rates are going up, 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 cheap debt is on the assets that we can buy, and if the market slides down, and the equity is chewed down, we can actually take over at a commercial level or a residential level the debt that's there and enjoy very cheap debt, very specific ninja skills necessary to do this. You have to be trained where you can really help and serve humans at the highest possible level, either with the existing debt that's there and giving them a little bit of scratch to say, see you later, buzz off, make like Christian and bail, or you can get new debt, existing, basically get cash to replace, to buy the property using no money and no credit, since the asset is what qualifies, not you. You actually don't matter. No offense. I know your mom loves you, but these sellers really don't care other than just give me money and get me out of here. And we're looking for sellers that are motivated, of course, and we create deals through the magic of the impasse. And if you are in the program already, you know exactly what that means. And if you are not in the program, maybe you might want to learn how to do this, because I don't know any other business where you don't need money, you don't need credit, you just need very specific skill sets to make a tremendous amount of money. I had an event this weekend on Friday, Saturday, Sunday with a ninja component. Had a great group, some phenomenal humans, and I'm really, really excited to help those and serve those that really want to help and serve others and make millions of dollars at the same time. Paul, first day from Montreal. Comment ça va, Paul? Hope you're doing great. Third seller call, first as member of the tribe. Very good, TB. Good to see you. You're new, Bobby Joe. Very good. Nice to see you, new Bobby Joe. Nathan is also new. Well, we got some new people here. New. I'll be gentle, I promise. And brand new scene recordings. Excited to learn. Very good. Michael, good to see you as well. Bobby Joe, Michael, Anthony. I know you're not new because I saw you this weekend. Ralph, good to see you as well. Ryan, nice to see you as well. Yeah, some old faithfuls here. Jeffrey from Toronto, first time as well. Jeffrey, you're not the first time. You stop it. Do not lie to me. Is this really your first seller call ever? Wow. Where you been, man? I know you've attended classes before. I can't believe you missed this. This is probably some of the best content you're going to hear without paying for it, honestly. And the reason I do this is to inspire you to see what's possible with knowledge. Knowledge is all you need. There's no shortage of opportunity in this market cycle, in this world. And if you know how to spot the opportunity and create the opportunity through just communication and through skill sets, you can generate as much money as you choose to. There's unlimited amounts of cash. And if there's an unlimited amount of money, there should be no limit to how much money is in your bank account. And if there isn't, there's something that you're not doing that that's stopping you from doing it. And it's the person that's looking at you in the mirror. The more you learn, the more you earn. It's that simple. And if you want to really up your income, so you can tell your boss to up theirs, if you're working for someone else, because they're telling you what you're worth in this business, you can make as much money as you want. It's pretty much the sky's the limit as to how much money you want to make. All right. So no, I can't see you, Salvador. I'm sorry. This is a webinar. This is not it's done through Zoom, but I cannot see your face. I'm sorry. All right. But you can see mine, I hope. All right. So this is, again, live. It's November 22nd, 22, 11/22/22. Very interesting. Some cool numbers in there. And the objective, of course, is for you to see what's possible once you learn. And for those that are in the tribe, we have a lot of tribes people here already in the program. You get to see what other students are doing as well. And even through messing things up, they're still doing deals like this. This is a deal that's actually under contract already. This was done a couple weeks ago, this call. I've had some really great calls. Last week I was traveling, and I think we had some mess as far as the the reception goes. But this person, I think, has been in the program 6 months, 7 months, something like that. Not very long. Actually didn't see her for the whole summer. She just decided to take the summer off. And as soon as she came back, she snagged it. And here we are. And this seller was actually pretty difficult, cantankerous. She actually told the seller to pretty much fuck off, which was quite interesting. Not in those words. And I say that not to... for no other reason than the seller basically said, hey, my bottom line's this number. And if you don't like it, you're off the hook. You never have to talk to me again. And she took that as a fuck off. And I said, no, actually, this means that you're off the hook to have to worry about him. Go find another, something else. But it actually ended up working out with that number. So this is a call with great. Already we're buying it correctly. And I say this constantly. We're not looking to buy a job, meaning that we're not looking to buy something with future value. We want a discount at today's value, and we want an upside. We want to do both. So we're not really burning the candle at both ends. We're actually making a candle at both ends. So our equity is actually growing twice as fast because you buy it right, and there's a great upside. And many, many sellers are selling you on what the future is going to hold. But if it was that cool, then they should be doing it themselves. We're not going to buy something for more just because there's an opportunity later. That doesn't make sense at all. All right. So this is actually me trying to save the deal after her saying, Fangula, get out of here. Take your property and scram, and turn that into a really, really great opportunity. So just to look at this, you're in Australia. Cool. And I'm looking forward for you to attend the December, which is great. We have someone here right now that I just spoke to that just attended the 3-day that's in mentorship in Singapore and Romania. We have people from all over the world, and I have a lot of Australians as well, a lot of Canadians, a handful of Romanians, handful of people from all over Europe, a lot of Canadians, a lot of US people as well, but a lot of Canadians. I think most of my tribe is, a lot of them are Canadian. Canadians are cool. Everyone's cool. Anyone that wants to learn, I love helping people. That's really why I'm here. My driver is create a community of people, a tribe of people that love serving other people, because through service, you actually can make millions of dollars, which I will show to you once again. Most think that buying real estate is all about numbers. It's all about it's all about the real estate. It's not. It's about people. And if you can really serve people at the highest level, you're going to be very, very wealthy if you understand and have the skill sets necessary in order to do so. And the higher the skill sets, the more you understand and have refined skill sets, the more money you can make. In fact, you can make more money in one deal than most can make in a year. And you can do as many deals as you want, specifically in this market cycle, as I've said, with cheap debt that's on assets. You could just leave the debt there, and without using money or credit, you can just leverage other people's money to put things together. Okay. So we'll get going now. I'll do my best to stick to an hour. I know we did a marathon a few weeks ago. This call has lasted up to 2 hours, which I hate doing. I, in fact, dislike running over time because we all plan things, but it was necessary because of everything else. Yes, Bobby Joe, this is all about serving. It's not how much money we can make and take. It's not about taking. This is about helping. And if you really help and serve other people at a very high level, I'm talking, you'll see, like from a tax perspective, so they can keep more, from a, get them out of the reason they're selling. These are the kinds of sellers that we're crafting deals with. Deals are not, everyone says, where did you find this deal? We don't find deals. We craft them. We create them by understanding what the seller situation is and really giving them what they need, not necessarily what they want. Most people want to make an offer and they get accepted and then they celebrate. The problem is if you make an offer and it's accepted, A, you pay too much. And the whole point of buying assets is to buy it right. And it's not necessarily buying it for necessarily as low as you can, because that might not serve your counterpart. For example, if you have a couple that wants to retire and they're taking that money and they have to live on that for the rest of their life, they might think that they're going to live for 10 years, but what happens if they live 11? They're fucked. So they're using the money that they're getting from the sale. And if you sell, there's tax. And if you don't structure it right, they're going to actually get clawback on tax. And they thought they were going to get this amount, but they're getting this amount. And suddenly they're going to run out of money before they run out of life. And if you can structure things where after you get a no, which is basically the whole point of the program, is get a no and then figure out exactly what they need and then structure a deal that really serves them. That's kind of the whole process that we do. All right. So let's go. Let's do this. And again, if you have questions, you can chat. Do not use the Q&A. There's a Q&A thing. I'm not going to read it, and I don't want you to feel ignored. So just chat if there's something that you want to. And if you send me, I've seen people that send like a book. I'm not going to read that while I'm talking. It's impossible. I can glance and read it. If it's not short, I won't be able to respond, just so you know. Not because I don't love you. I have ADD and I can't do two things at once well. I'm a guy too, which basically precludes me from doing almost anything twice. Well, at all. 2 times. All right, here we go.
This Mike.
All right.
Hey, Mike, this is Marco.
You guys hear that?
And Rose, you've been emailing back and forth about your parks.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Is this a good time? Bad time?
Go ahead.
All right. I just wanted to.
All right. So this is interesting. All right. I'm gonna rewind this just for a second here because I was asking if you guys can hear me. So again, she blew this guy off. All right. Rose blew this guy off, basically blew him off. All right. After thinking that the guy was insulting her and he wasn't. Misunderstanding. That's fine. And I asked her to set up a call, and she basically put underwriting wants to talk to you, and underwriting is me. All right. And from that, he has been very difficult, like 1-word answers. If you don't like this, basically fuck off, but without the fuck off. Right. I like that because it's direct, and most people are offended or find it difficult to deal with direct people. As I was many, many moons ago. I didn't want to offend anybody. I'm Canadian. I was sorry about everything. And I didn't want to offend anybody, and I didn't want to overstep my bounds, and I wanted to be polite and, all these things. But people really need to hear the truth. And if you're not direct with people, you're actually being impolite because you're robbing them of the truth. And if you give them false hope, that's terrible. You're actually robbing them of their life because they're thinking you're going to be able to do something that you can't deliver on. And that is a lie. And I don't want to lie to anybody. All right. So once you get your noodle around that one, you'll be able to start moving forward with understanding that being direct is actually a lot better, and it'll actually lead to really serving and helping people. So whenever I hear someone says, go ahead. So when someone says, go ahead, does that mean they really want to talk to me? Think about this. Go ahead. Does this guy really want to talk to me? Nope. All right. This is someone that does not want to talk to me when I hear go ahead. So as soon as I hear that, I know, okay, uphill battle. And this is a little bit different than a lot of seller calls, because a lot of seller calls, they want to talk to me. In this case, the guy doesn't want to talk to me. So what the fuck do we do then? Right. He's a little irritated. As I said, this guy's he's been running around with a lot of things, taking a long time to get somewhere. I see this for what it is. And I think, hey man, I think we should hop on a call here and see what we can do. And she's like, hey, underwriting wants to talk to you. And she's like, who the hell is underwriting? That's basically what he says, yeah, call me anytime. I don't give a shit. Right. So he's literally disconnected from this whole process from the get-go. All right. So I have some work to do. So just listen up.
Your parks.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Is this
all right?
a good time?
Let me rewind it. All right.
This Mike.
Hey, Mike, this is Marco and Rose. You've been emailing back and forth about your parks.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Is this a good time? Bad time?
Go ahead.
All right. I just wanted to get a quick snapshot on the project. We have I guess you're
all right. So now I started with a little bit of excitement. He says, go ahead. And now I'm going to go into, I'm going to sound bored as shit mode, which is very difficult for me because I'm an animated person. All right. We have someone called Henry in our tribe who is fantastic at sounding completely disconnected from the conversation. He's just really good at it. So we call it pulling a Henry. Love you, Henry, if you're listening to this.
Asking her who I was underwriter for. I work with Capra Capital, and we're a small private equity fund. And we buy parks across the country, and small ones, big ones, medium-sized ones, and always looking to get rid of some capital. So just like to get...
Okay. So go ahead, gave him the quick, what we call the tip. If you're in the program, did some, hey, we have a fund, we have money, we want to get rid of it. and I'd like to get a snapshot of what's going on here. All right. Not selling him. If the guy doesn't want to talk to me at any point, I'm ready for him to say, get out of here and fuck off. All right. Because he's already done it. And then Rose did it back. So this is where we're coming from. All right. So this is the conversation point that we're coming from. Someone's irritated. Students irritated. All right. They're fighting. And let's see if I can fix this. All right. So my first focus is what's his pain. All right. And if we solve that, we can make millions. Remember that. This is not about numbers necessarily. The numbers seem to almost work right now. I'll go through these numbers in a minute. But the objective here is what's his pain? And he won't give me his pain unless he knows I have the ability to write a check for it or have access to the money to write a check for it. And once I understand his pain, it's downhill from there. It's not about numbers. All right. It's about pain.
An idea as to what's going on with this one. Now, I noticed I saw in a note here there are quite a few that are down. Are they destroyed or are they just need a little bit of TLC? What's the deal with that?
Okay. So his communication was that the park is making around $5,100 a month. That's the gross, around $5,100 a month. Okay. And there are 17 units that are down. Now, down can mean you spruce them up and they're ready to rent. Down could mean they need to be hauled away. Down can mean a lot of things. All right. Now, I need to choose something that is something that he wants to talk about to see if he actually wants to sell me on buying the park. I'm going to say this again. I want him to sell me to buy the park. I'm not going to sell him to take my money. If he doesn't want my money, no problem. Don't take it. Now, again, it's not my money. I'm using asset-based lending. All right. Or leaving existing debt there. I don't know what the deal is yet, either existing debt or new money. And if it's new money, all of us have access to the same numbers, the same pool of cash, right? All of us. Don't care how much money you have or don't have, living out of your car, living in a penthouse in New York. We all have access to the same money because it's the deal that gets the money. It's not me. It's not you. It's not your credit. It's not your experience. It's the deal. All right. The deal pencils, the money's available. That's how it works. That's beauty of this business.
A lot of them, we inherited those park-owned homes.
All right. So he inherited the park-owned homes, which means that when he bought it, they were already there. Okay. So they've been empty for a while. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet. You guys following me so far? I haven't seen much in the chat. I want to make sure that you guys are with me here.
And they were vacant when we took over, and we've been slowly. My partner and I both have jobs here in the Twin Cities, and it's 3.5 hours away, and we have full-time jobs, and we go down on the weekends and do what we can, and then travel back home. But
all right, this is gold. What he's saying right now. All right, he lives somewhere. He goes 3.5 hours, and he fixes up what he can. All right. And he does this over the weekends. All right. So some of you are like in capitals. This sounds like a lot of work for him. All right. So I already know that maybe that's his pain. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't make the assumption. I'm just listening. And this is probably the hardest thing for people to do is just shut your pie hole, shut the fuck up and just listen. Don't interject. Don't interrupt the guy. Just listen. Don't put in my 2 cents. I'm just going to listen to the guy. All right. Because I know I already told him I have money. I already told him that we buy parks all over the country, small ones, big ones, medium-sized ones. Like to know more about these empty ones. Now I asked him about the empty ones and he just told me that he travels from one part to the other. He didn't have to tell me that. He could have I inherited these and then shut up. Right? Couldn't he have just said that? Oh, they've just been there since we bought them. One word, like one sentence answer, but he's not doing that. What he's doing is he's giving me a snapshot of the actual situation of what's going on. Why? I'll let you figure that out in a second.
So yeah, I guess we've got 6, 7 of them done the last 3 years, and the park pays for itself. So there hasn't been any urgency to get it done, but we bought it for our kids, so they could fight over it. That's what we did. Now I got it.
I bought it for my kids so they could fight over it. That's what he just said. And he fixed up 6 or 7 units in the last how many years? He's now told me how many years he's owned it. 3 years, right? So in 3 years, he's over the weekends, he slowly fixed up 6 or 7, which is basically 2 a year over a very long period of time which seems like horrendous. All right. This is an owner operator. He bought this for his kids. Again, I started in one direction and now he's painting something. And again, his starting point is, what do you want? Go ahead. When I hear go ahead, I already know the guy doesn't want to talk to me. Now he's starting to open up, and there's a very specific process to making that happen. All right.
Partner problem, and I want to get rid of the partnership and keep the friend. You know what I mean?
I understand.
So
yeah,
let me rewind this so you hear it.
So,
all right. Another insight. Just I'll shut up.
Friend, you know what I mean?
I understand.
So
yeah.
I guess we've got what 6, 7 of them done last 3 years, and the park pays for itself. So there hasn't been any urgency to get it done, but we bought it for our kids, so they could fight over it. That's what we did. Now I got a partner problem, and I want to get rid of the partnership and keep the friend. You know what I mean?
I understand.
So I have for the kids to fight over it. Now I have a partnership problem, and I want to get rid of the partnership but keep my friend. What does that mean? You just said something very insightful. I want to get rid of the partnership but keep my friend. So his friend is his partner, and he wants to get rid of the partnership. He doesn't want to lose his friend over this. So clearly there's some dissension within the partnership, but the friendship is more important to him than the money. All right. So every single person that's first new in this, they think, well, everyone wants as much as possible. It's money is all that people care about. Well, maybe that's what all you care about. But if you have a certain amount, if you have a friend that's a real friend and you're going to lose them over 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, but that's a friend that you've had, like the ride or die friend, the hide the body friend. And this project is creating so much tension between you. It's just not worth losing your friend. Then guess what? It's gone. That either the friendship is gone, and you're keeping the friendship over money, or let's get rid of this and stay friends. Because if we keep this, we're going to kill each other. All right. Make sense? So that's what they're at.
Yeah.
His heart's not in it anymore. So, I've been primarily working it myself, and I can't do it anymore. I'm in my 60s, and it's like, okay.
Right.
Well,
so he's doing everything himself. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He's in his 60s. Am I getting a lot of information so far from someone that didn't want to talk to me to begin with? All because I didn't focus the conversation necessarily on him selling it. I focused the conversation on a neutral point that he can just talk about without feeling threatened, without his guard being up. That's a very safe thing to talk about that now is unraveling a whole picture that I didn't know that I was going to get a second ago, right? He's opening up. And that's the point, right? He's opening up. So now we're getting all this information. And again, the tone, the opener, the things I'm doing, it's called the tip. At the very beginning, there's very specific things that I'm doing that allow this to happen, to unlock. We're talking to parts of his brain. These are all processes where you're really talking to a part of his brain. Okay, there's a buyer. Don't really want to talk to him. Oh, they're asking me about this. And now suddenly the rose is blooming.
He was supposed to do some of the blocking, setting up the homes and strapping and all that stuff. I did the plumbing and the carpentry. So, it was a good fit. It was a good theory when we started, but hey, his heart's not in it anymore. So it's time to move on,
Yeah.
Also, I'll keep trying to lose the partnership. So
I understand. Well, at least your priorities are set right.
Priorities are right. Friends are more important than money, at least in my book. So I'm just agreeing with the guy. The priorities in the right spot. I don't want to lose my friend.
Partnerships are hard.
Partnerships are hard. I don't know if you've ever been in a partnership in business, but it's a partnership with no sex and it's all about money. And some of you get married and then divorced and there is sex and money involved and kids and it gets brutal, right? In this case, in certain partnerships, it can be even worse. And there's not been that emotional connection of love and kids and being aligned in certain values or not aligned, but holy shit, partnerships can be very, very, very difficult. And I think in the last few seller calls, I think in the last one or the one before that, literally the partner's like, get me I want to run away from this. Like, I want to run away from the partnership, run away as fast as I can from this partnership. Run. I don't care. It's not about, I'll give this thing away so I don't have to deal with this motherfucker anymore.
Yeah,
Hard.
especially when you have full-time jobs and trying to keep busy that way. So keep our insurance and the medicals and our 401s and stuff like that.
Right.
All right. He just gave us the entire pain structure. If you were listening, what's the pain? The guy is going, he was supposed to do something with his friend that was his partner. His friend has let him down. He's getting irritated by it. He's going back. He wants to keep his 401k. He wants to keep his retirement. He wants to keep all that stuff. That's what's more important to him. I'm going to show you the numbers in a second. He is taking, because he is not skilled, doesn't have the skill sets and the education as to what he really has. The guy wants to give it away. Just give it away. This is a pet project for them. He didn't buy it for themselves. They bought it for their kids. This is something that he wants to pass down to his children so they could take care of themselves or have something to take care of them. And it's not working out that way. So you like working extra hard.
Yeah, the houses are, they need rehabbing. It's on the listing that we've been finding. Some houses, it'll only cost us like $2,000 to go in there and fix them up. Some of it's cosmetic. Other ones need furnaces and plumbing work. So, and of course I did the furnaces and the plumbing. So, I'd go down on the weekend and I'd run, 70, 100 foot of PEX, and put some fittings in and, put in new hot water heaters, because some of the pipes are blown.
Yep.
But, and then, he'd come in and do some blocking or strapping. I got 15, 17 of those.
All right. So there's 16 of them that need work. $2-3 grand. I'm going to call it. He said 5. Let's use 7,500. Okay. So $7,500 for 16. That's $120,000. So let's say $150,000 all in to fix 16 more units. You understand the math? All right. So if we want to take advantage of the upside, which is 16 down units. All right. There's 16 units that are down. They're already there. And 3,000, maybe 5. Let's call it 7,500. So let's over exaggerate on that, which is 120. And let's add another 30 grand just because you never know what you're going to find. Right. So now at 150, you can actually get 16 more units on this, up and operational on this property. You don't even know how many units are on there yet. I just want to show you what first, because we're starting with the upside right now. All right. So at this time, what's the value of buying this if it was just an empty park making no money? If there's no money coming in, the value to us is 0. So we're not buying an upside. We're buying this for 0. This is just an upside. This is not something that we're paying extra for. This is just something that's there. It's making $5,100 a month. I'm going to show you the math in a second. And we're not paying extra for all this because we have to put work into it. So if the guy says, well, there's all these extra units, so you have to pay for them, my answer would be 0 chance of that ever happening. Even if there's a significant upside on this property, we're not buying a future job. This is just the questions that I'm asking just to see, what that scope of work looks like based on what he's saying. And he's giving me all this information, his pain at the same time. All right. Hopefully that makes sense.
And left to do. And so if somebody had some money, they go in there. I got 2 that are almost ready, probably need about $5,000 a piece. And those will be ready to rent, And then what we do is we've been selling them on a contract for deed.
Yep.
And then, we get the down payment money and it pays for the remodeling basically.
Understood.
So, yep. So,
okay. So what he's doing is doing a contract for deed, which is basically selling off the units. So he's selling off the assets with down payment and a monthly fee. He's actually losing money doing that the way he's put it together. I don't want to sell them at pennies on the dollar. He's selling them way too cheap. He's selling them at actually below what it costs him. The way that he structured this, he's not making any money. So if you're putting $7,500 in or $5,000 and getting $5,000 in a down payment just to cover that, he's using it because he doesn't have money. So he's thinking that he's clever by doing that, and then he's selling off the actual unit. But then that unit's gone once it's paid for, and then he's not making the revenue anymore. It's short-term gain for long-term pain. When we buy an asset, we want to own it for as long as possible to make as much cash flow as possible to really enjoy the asset and the cash flow for forever. It's like herpes. Once we get it, we never want to get rid of it. Well, herpes you do, but you can't. But I don't have herpes. I don't know how that works. But we just want to keep that cash flow forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. So it doesn't make sense at all, or it doesn't make dollars to put money in and then give it away. That's stupid. I want to do it and then just enjoy it. So we did a little bit of research. All right. And watch what's about to happen here.
Then they pay us $700 a month.
All right. So the rents are $700 to $850 a month. That's market rent. All right. Well, Bobby Joe, herpes you never get rid of it. It's just opposite herpes. So if you've never heard me before, I'm just a colorful guy and I try to make people laugh. All right. I'm not trying to be weird. So the lowest rents are $700 a month all the way to $850. So let's use the lowest. At $700 a month, at 12 months, it's $8,400. Now, this is extra in the park. We haven't discussed, the park's already making money. It's already making $5,100 a month. This is just the upside. We're just starting with the upside, which is unusual. Usually you start with the park or whatever the asset is, and then we go to the upside. I'm starting here first, just because that was the only way to get this guy in my head to get off from, what do you want? What do you don't talk to me. You're an asshole. To, oh, now I have the information that I need. So the park is already making money. The taxes are paid. The insurance is paid. There's already management in place, which we have to take care of, and maintenance reserves, which we have to put aside, which is for Murphy, and all the other shit that the park has to pay for. We're keeping about 80% of that upside. All right. That's almost all free money. So those are going to be easier to rent because they're going to be pretty much rent ready without the damage of past tenants. So our income, 700 times 12 on the lower end, I'm using lower end income, is $8,400 a year. 80% of that is 6,720. That's about our net, which means that 7,200. All right. Where did I get 7,200 from? I think I did this wrong. Can you tell me what 6,720? I think that was my old math. I think I reduced it when I was doing this. I think I forgot to change a digit. I think 6,720 times 16 is 107,520. I could be wrong though. Is that correct? I want to make sure. I don't like having wrong numbers. I like accurate number. So 6,720 times 16, all right, is 107,520. Okay. So the 7,200 is wrong. It's 107,520. I used a bigger number for the, I think I used 750 originally and keeping 80% of that. And I said, no, let me dial it back to actually a little bit more on the conservative side. So it is 107,520. So 107,520 is the actual upside net of this park. That's 107,520 in your pocket. This is your park. That's $100,000 in your pocket once these units are fixed. Do you remember what it's going to cost to fix these units? Do you guys remember what that number was? What we used? 150. 150. And we actually added 30 grand to that. We added 30 grand, right? So 120 is the number. I said, let's call it 150. So what's 150? Sorry, 107,520 divided by 107,520. So if we borrow, not if, but when we borrow 150 from whoever this is called gap money, right? Money, or the original lender. If we're using existing debt, then we need gap money. If we're getting a whole new loan, then we need to borrow more. We're going to put a plan together and say, okay, we're going to borrow not 120, we're going to borrow 150 because Murphy exists. Once we do all this work, it's going to cost us 150, and that 150 generates us 107,520. What's the cash on cash return on that? What's the return of 107,520 into 150? That's a 72% return, 71.6%, 70% return. Is that a pretty good return? Only one of you thinks it's yes. All right. That is a 71% return. And by the way, $107,000 is $1 million upside on the property. That's $1 million worth of real estate on the income, just on the income alone. That's if it's at a 10% return. All right. If it's a 8.5 or a 9% return, you're looking at $1.2 million of value for a $150,000 loan. So how gap money works is, let's say that we go to Joe Lewis. I'm picking you randomly here. All right. I say, Joe, you have a, self-directed Roth IRA. Here's how it works. You put in the 150 for the repairs. I missed 2 payments. You instantly get this deal. So now your 150 is going to make you 107,520. I missed 2 payments. So you get this whole deal. All right. That's why the money is available, because I go from whatever the interest rate is. Let's say it's 10%. So I lend the money at 10, even 11, doesn't matter. I lend the money at a reasonable interest rate because there's more risk on a gap, and there's not really any more risk, but we have no problem getting the money. And 15% on the money, by the way, is 15% on 150,000 is 15% is 1650, I believe. All right. I believe 1650, 16,500, which means that you're making $90,000 after paying 16,500 for the money. And if you're the gap lender, you go from making 16,500 to $107,000, almost 10 times more. Almost, no, actually it's 8 times more, 7 times more. It's 7 times more, 6 times more, whatever the math is, as soon as that person misses 2 payments. So you secretly hope that person's missing 2 payments. Are you guys following me? So the money is easy, because you're putting the person or the group or the investor who's putting the money in front of you saying, if I don't keep my promise, you're now not going to make $16,000 a year. You're going to make $100,000 a year. 0 chance of default. Or if you do default because you're a bonehead, you just made your lender very happy, they're going to say, go find me another one. All right. It's that easy. All right. It's a great deal. So why would someone give up this deal? 22,500. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. It's 22,500. That's not 15%. It's 11%. We're not paying 15% for the money. I would never pay 15% for gap. 11 is kind of around what it is. All right. The pain is to keep his friend. Now that's, by the way, that's $100,000 a year of passive income. If you're a Canadian, that's $2 million a year. All right. It's a lot.
And how long are your contracts? 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah, whatever I can, affordability to the resident, So lot rent is $375 for all the new ones coming in. So we add that, for house payments, they pay $775. Whatever we can get.
All right, $775 is what they're saying with lot rent. I'm using $700. All right, so these numbers are actually conservative compared to what they are. You heard that, right? So that's just for the property. That's just for the trailer. Then there's lot rent on top of that. So I'm using 700 as a base that is actually a lot less than what the reality is.
Gotcha. I understand. Okay.
Depends on what we spend on the unit, If we spend a lot of money on the unit, then, I got to have more. The last one, I got $5,000 down as a deposit. She gave me 30 days to fix it and told me what she wanted in it. And I took her $5,000 and went to Menards and bought the material.
There you go.
And then we went on another weekend and finished it for them.
When's the last time you had a weekend to yourself?
I haven't in 4 years. Yeah,
Did you hear what I said? When's the last time you had a weekend off, weekend to yourself? 4 years ago. Now, if that doesn't put your finger in the pain and add salt to it and kick him in the nuts at the same time, nothing will. It's an honest question. And I don't know if you heard, I was trying to say you must like working a lot, because that's what it sounds like. This sounds like he's working his ass off. So if I can solve his pain, do we make millions? Again, we haven't negotiated on the actual numbers of the park yet as to where we are. All right. He gave us his bottom line number. I haven't told you what it is yet, I don't think. All right.
Let's get you one of those.
That's part of the stress, and I'm in my.
Let's get you one of those. He's not listening. He's still thinking about what I just said. Part of the stress, I'm in my 60s. Listen.
4 years. Yeah.
Let's get you one of those.
That's part of the stress, and I'm in my 60s now. So, I mean, it's just, okay, maybe it's time to cash out. So
I understand.
That's where we're at, and other than that, I mean, it brings in $5,100 a month. So,
all right. So I'm trying to talk and he's just keeping talking. And now, hey, it brings in $5,100 a month. Okay. Well, let's do some math right now.
Gotcha. And the number that you shared with Lori is the number that you need to, to take care of it. Let me see. Let me crunch numbers. See what
I know I said Lori. Her name's Rose.
with the information that you gave me. I'll do our best to get there. And yeah. And do you prefer to close? Do you prefer to close? Forgive me. Do you prefer to close sooner than later or later than sooner? I know if there's a tax issue.
All right. So now I'm going to ask him what's generally a important question, which is, what's more important, money, the amount of cash, or speed? And if it's speed, I know which direction to go into. If it's cash, I know which direction to go into. So I really want to see what weighs on him more. Does he want the money right away, or does he want to wait for the money? Because also there's tax. Now he's had this for 4 years, so there'll be no short-term capital gain, but he's depreciated. There won't be that much either, because it's land, and trailers are not considered real estate. Trailers are considered cars. So there's not a lot of depreciable. It's not really that. There's not a lot of clawback on the capital gain there either. So I just want to see from a tax perspective. See, we're almost done this call already, but we're going to run into some numbers, and you're going to see how cool this is.
If you want us to do it in this year, because we could do it this year, or we could do it Gen 1, depending on what your tax situation is. I don't know if you've thought of that, but at the IRS, if you look at how it's spelled, the IRS, theirs. And we don't like them, but, we have to make sure that, we're conscious of that.
All right. So there's a reason I'm asking this question. Hey, do you want the money this year? Do you want the money next year? So now I'm putting in a position where he's spending the money in his head. I'm laying a seed, basically saying, hey, when do you want your money? And do you care about the taxes? What's going on? All right. So I want him to tell me how he's going to handle it, because and hopefully sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't, how he's spending the money in advance. And guys, once he has had a conversation with someone and is spending the money in advance, what happens to him as a seller psychologically if he's already spending the money because the buyer's talking to him right now? What's happening in his head? Think about this. It's game over. It's done. It's sold. I'm already spending the money. It's done. Listen carefully.
I have 4 years worth of stuff to clean up, so I'm not worried about the tax issue.
Okay. All right.
You know what I mean? And I've already paid my tax in. It's November here, so I'm not worried about that. I can filter it out. I got 3 different companies.
All right. I'm just trying to look out for you, man, because we're not just about, let's get this for, whatever we can. It's how do we work together to take care of the IRS and you at the same time to make it the best deal for you and for us.
I got credit cards that I can pay off and take it right off the top. So
I got credit cards I'm going to pay off and take it off the top. What's he doing with the money? What's he doing with the money? What just happened? All right. It's paying off the debt already. Oh, I'm going to pay off these credit cards. Less debt load. There you go. Now you're getting it. The gross is 51,200. The net is 36,000. It needs 150 for the upside of 107. We purchased it for 250. That's a 14.6 return right now the day we bought it. Is that a decent return? That's not counting the upside. That's just right now, the deal as it stands, 14.6% return now. Is that decent? Is that acceptable? Is that an acceptable number? That means 100% of the money can be gotten on this deal. It'll work. It'll work very well. Next, we borrow 250 plus another 200. Hey, I said 150 on the other one. I want to borrow 200. Why? Because you need to pull out extra cash. When we close a deal, guys, we get paid. That $30,000 extra that I put in, that's for Murphy. The other 50 is for Rose. Rose needs to be paid the day she buys this park. We don't buy money. We don't buy property putting money into deals. We buy deals and they pay us. She has invested in herself to learn how to do this. She's invested in herself to get a team of people to help her structure things, have the right experts around her. And now it's time for her to be paid because she's doing the work. That's how this business works. You don't go to this business putting money in. You go in this business taking money out. So we're putting in an extra 30, 40, possibly even $50,000 in Rose's bank account the day she closes this. Is that acceptable? Is that acceptable to buy something, have all the money you need to fix it up, in order to generate a net. Now, this is going to take a little bit of time to do, and that's why we want reserves. That's why we want the cash in the bank, the extra money. So as things are improving, as the money is necessary, A, it's there, and B, the cash flow is growing and growing. And remember, we're using lesser than market rents, not 775, 700. So over time, as it optimizes, the net will be about 150,000. I'm using 144, 240 at just the lowest rent possible to make sure it's full. All right. The existing assets that are there, and not even raising the rents yet on the existing tenants. Not one rent increase, 0 rent increases. All right. So 144, 240. That's a 32% return because that's 450 onto, if you do 450 into 144, because that's our all-in price, 450. That means one mortgage of $450,000 is the more, you think the money's available? If the net's 144, that's a 32% cap rate. We got this for 250. That is correct, Frank. 250 all in, plus borrowing 200, which is the 150 plus another 50. That means we're all in for 450. 450,000 is the mortgage. First mortgage, one mortgage. We need money for the acquisition. We need money for the optimization. We miss a payment, it's all yours. That means that, let's say that I'm the lender. I lend the money, 6 to 8% return, right? Not crazy. 6 to 8% mortgage, about what the rates are now, because this is not based on prime. It's based on what the fund, there are funds, there are institutions, there are individuals where 6 to 8% is fair. No problem. Miss 2 payments, that deal belongs to me. I secretly pray that Rose misses 2 payments every single day. All right. And if she decides not to make 2 payments, if this is your deal and you miss 2 payments, no problem. We'll give you all your money back that you put in. Wait a second. How much money did you put in? Can you share that with me? How much money did you put in? You got paid money. You got paid 50 grand to buy it. So is it fair that we'll give you your money back if you don't keep your promises? Absolutely. So if you don't put any money, you didn't get any, you got paid the day you closed. You're a bonehead. You didn't make the payments. You don't deserve to keep it. That's how life works. No trophies for second place. No excuses. You went on vacation for 6 months, didn't make the payment. Too bad. You lost it. Don't go on vacation. Mind your business. Because if you don't mind your business, somebody else will. Now, if she loses the property, do you think that I'll lend her more money if I'm the gap lender on the next one? Think about it. I just made a 32% return on her not doing well. Do you think I'll lend her money again? Absolutely, all day long. 100%. I hope nobody says no here. That's what asset-based lending is you don't keep your promises, that person makes a shit ton of money. How many people do you want in your life wanting to give you money, hoping that you don't keep your promise? As many as possible. And that is why asset-based lending is far superior, because you have unlimited cash, because the returns make it happen. It's not bruising the credit, because if your credit isn't there, it doesn't matter. Go to Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, TD, CIBC, RBC, NatWest, Santander, whatever. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Any bank that is anywhere, Lloyd's. Don't make a payment on your mortgage, on a mortgage, and see if you can go to another institution and borrow more than the very next day. The answer is what? No fucking way. So that is the power of asset-based lending. All right. We're not done the call. Sorry. I undid that. Let me do that again. We have like 45 seconds left.
There you go. All right, man. Okay, I'll pencil this out, and then we'll get you an agreement sooner than later. And if you're okay with it, we'll close by the end of the year.
Okay. Let me know.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Let's get you a weekend.
Well, there we go. That was it. Didn't miss much. So, how do we start the call? Go ahead. Impress me. What do you want? Who's this guy underwriting? What's this underwriting bullshit, right? That's how it started. And it ended with an incredible opportunity using skills and not your own money. Rose doesn't need any money at all. Neither do you. And this is why I love this business, because you can take literally lemons and turn them into lemonade. And guys, you heard the guy say we're in November, right? This is this month. This is not 8 months ago. This is now. All right. The opportunity is absolutely everywhere. Now, in this case, there's no existing debt. It's just new debt. The guy just wants out. There is a small debt, but it's irrelevant. We don't need it. It's like $20,000. Who fuck? No, I don't need that little debt in place. Doesn't matter. New debt's going to be better because we want new debt plus the optimization. This is a $1.7 million park. All right. When it's done, and she's not going to go manage tenants, she'll have actual management companies that will take care of it because our numbers already include that cost. It'll get optimized. And if the market even goes close to an 8 cap, it's, I did this on an 8-9 at a 9 cap, it's worth 1.6. At an 8 cap, it's worth close to $2 million. All right. And when she refinances it out, it'll be $900,000 on a cash out refi. That's $800,000 to $900,000 tax free in a couple years just for buying it. So she gets money the day she buys it. She gets cash flow, and she gets tax free money when she refinances it. Name any business, anything in the world where you get paid that much on one deal. I don't know what it is. Without using money, without using credit, just using your brain. Guys, if this isn't exciting, I don't know what is. And again, the objective is not to buy real estate, it's to help a person. That person gets to save their friend. All right. Save him from 4 years of servitude on a park that he just doesn't care about anymore. We're saving his freedom, his life. Literally. It's sucking him dry. And we're making a couple $1 million at the same time. So, are you wanting to help people? Yes or no? And if you do, then learn how to do it. It's not by watching this that you're going to learn how. It's actually by doing it. So, as you know, this is what I teach. It's what I do. It's what I love. And we're serving someone. This is not taking advantage of anybody. This guy wants out. He's in pain. What's his pain? Let's fix it. The guy's already spending the money. So let us help people. All right. It's pretty damn cool. All right. So it's really, really, really neat. So again, if this is something that you want to do, email me, marco@marcokozlowski.com. If there's room in some of the next events, I'll let you know about it. You got to learn how to do it. And this is something that's a little bit bigger than what I teach in the first class. The first class is the basics. Once you understand the basics of either using new debt or existing debt and how to create an impasse, because that's exactly what was created, which is he wouldn't go any lower. We said we wouldn't do any more. He got pissed off. There was some negative energy there. No problem. We can work it out. So that was him being negative at the beginning. And now he's spending the money and we're good to go. And that's the difference. All right. That's the difference. And it doesn't matter what walk of life you're in, what you do for a living, what you don't do for a living. You don't need money. You don't need credit. You just need a skill set. So if you want to learn the skill set, send me an email, marco@marcokozlowski.com, and we'll get you plugged in. You can learn this shit. But it takes practice. It's going to take a little bit of effort. This is not get rich quick. And if you put in the time, put in the effort, like anything else in life, it gives handsome dividends. And guys, this is just one, and there are deals after deal after deal after deal. Anyone that's in pain in this marketplace where someone can't sell because there are fewer buyers because of higher interest rates, imagine how many people you can really help and serve, each one making you 6-7 figures every single time. It's bananas. There's more money to be made in this market cycle than anyone in any time that I've seen in a very long time. 14 years I've been waiting for this, and I'm putting a lot of time and effort into my community right now because this is the time. And if you're willing to invest in yourself and put in the time, you're going to thank yourself for the rest of your life, because the next 2 years are going to be extremely profitable for those that put in the effort. If you're lazy, you deserve to be poor. That's all I got to say about that. Now, if you're a hard worker and you want to learn it, you're going to kill it, because it just takes a little bit of effort to learn this. And I'm really, really excited for those that want to learn. So again, marco@marcokozlowski.com. That's my email. Send me an email. I'll send you a link as to how you can get involved. And I want to help you, just like I'm helping Rose, like I do in every single person that's on these calls. I appreciate you. You guys rock. And again, put in the effort, get the result, and you guys rock. Thanks so much, guys. And we'll see you on the next call. And look, we finished on time. Whoop, 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 whoop. 10 o'clock. It takes me 6 minutes to do an hour. Just the kind of guy I am. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening. Toodles. Bye for now.